are doing Last of Us? No?
Sure.
Votes yes. I say yes. I want Teguh to be tired. Okay, let's go.
Alright then, yeah, after the poster talk, now let's get into The Last of Us episode 4 and 5. Spoiler discussion, alright? So, yeah, this week they released episode 4 earlier in the week and then episode 5 on Friday, was it, Bert? Yeah, on Friday, right? Yeah. So they released 2 episodes this week, so if you haven't watched episode 4 and 5, go watch it first and then come back to the spoiler discussions. Yeah. Great episodes, by the way. I think. Yeah. All right. So let's get to the spoiler discussion for episode 4 and 5. Are we just gonna do episode 4 first, then episode 5, or are we just gonna jump around?
Let's do
Yeah.
4 then. I don't
Four
know
first.
how.
4 then 5, I think. So it's easier for the listeners to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
follow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get lost
Alright.
as well myself.
Yeah, me neither. All right. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So, episode 4. Oh, what's your thoughts? I think episode 4 feels more of kind of like a setup in a way for episode 5. I don't know, but I mean,
You
like,
watch
it's
this
not
back to
saying
back. You watch this back to
I
back.
watch this
didn't
back to back. I watch this back to back.
Okay.
Yeah, like this afternoon. Yeah, I don't know. It felt like it's kind of a setup, but I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's still good, but yeah, it felt a good setup for episode 5 because episode 5 is pretty good. It's really good. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Let me take some scenes again so I remember clearly. How about you, Ariq? You know the
Actually,
games.
yes. This is arguably some of the iconic parts. You know the scenes? I think you've probably seen it before, or the one you probably know it in Logan, where like the girl is just like looking out the window of the car while the guy is driving.
Yeah.
Like this is arguably like I guess that moment. It's basically like that moment in the game is basically portrayed into this episode, at least in the first few parts. So it's quite nice. And as Kelvin said, yeah, this is mostly like a setup, or I guess in the game it's more of a transition from one chapter
Mm.
to the next. The previous chapter was them leaving Bill's area with a car, right? And this is kind of like
Mhm.
moving on. This is like basically like the beginning of a new chapter in the game. So I guess in terms of like story wise, there isn't like much to explore, but on the bright side, you did get to at least see bonding moments between Joel and Ellie here.
That's
And
pretty much the best part.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the game was sold, basically. What the best part about it. And and I guess the introduction to the new area, Kansas, is well,
Hey,
Kansas be wildin', bro. Kansas be wildin'.
that's
Kansas
a
Wild.
that's a detour from the game, right? Because they didn't stop in Kansas City. They stopped a different town, right? I believe.
I do not remember exactly what town they stopped in, and is it is it kind of
I
offensive if I
believe.
say all American towns look the same, especially when they're all broken down and like
Fair. Yeah. They're all just broken down towns. I mean cities.
To be fair, yeah, the setting of the game and the series is pretty much just like it looks the same. I just don't know the specifics of it. But yeah, go on, Albert. Do anything you want to say?
No, I was about
Yeah.
to say
Go on, Bert.
just because in the HBO Max version, the HBO Max version of their episode, I talk about this. They have the discussion with the cast and the showrunners. What's the name of the guy who created the game? Um, what's his name?
Ooh,
The guy who
guy who
created
created the game.
The Last of Us. Yeah, The Last of
I
Us.
don't remember. I don't know the creators.
Well, I'm googling. Wait.
Is it Craig?
Game.
Craig something?
They don't have the name.
Craig Mazin. Yeah, Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. Yeah, they talk about the detour that they talk about making Kansas City. They change the town to Kansas City because they say it fits. But this episode was really nice. I agree with Ariq. They have Logan vibes. The part the part at the very end of the episode where even because Pedro Pascal is just like not laughing at the jokes, and eventually he chuckles at the jokes at the very end. That makes me smile. That's such a heartwarming scene. Um,
I like the dad jokes though.
you like that jokes?
Mhm.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so it's uh it's it takes a turn. Like both of these episodes take a turn where there are super dark moments and super like charming moments. Like literally prior to the whole, they finally have some time together just before bed. The part where Ellie has to kill someone, and then she's like sort of having to like um saddle not settle she'd have to take a moment. I'm like, oof, okay, it's all right, it's gonna be all right, something like that. Like her performance is really good. Bella Ramsey is really good. And yeah, it's yeah, that whole sequence where they have to kill the guy and everything was really, it's hard to watch. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's the guy's name? Brian, I think. Yeah.
The guy that
The
was
one
killed,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brian.
Brian. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah. I mean, it's tough, man. When she's just shouting, calling for his mom. It's like, oh damn. And then you don't get to see it, and then the scream just stopped. Like, ooh, yeah. That felt
Can I
tough.
make this sound a bit worse? I guess not exactly Brian because he didn't have a name in the game, but like the guy, like basically Brian in game. You know how he died was even more brutal.
Oh, was he feed
so,
to the swarms?
so basically, like there was like a piece of broken like glass window,
Hmm.
and basically what Joel did is he shoved his neck onto the sharp end and just cut it
Ooh,
off. That. That's what happened.
whoa.
I was wondering, like that's what happened in the game. Like, why did he do that in there? But you know what? Oh, it's fine. But yeah, no, that's it was one of the brutal kills in game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Teguh, how about you? What's your thoughts on episode 4?
I liked 4 because like I remember I only knew the main plot points, so I didn't know about any of this like moving in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I just see like Brian like begging for mercy, and I'm like, Joel, do the right thing, make me proud, do the right thing. Fucking like stabs Brian. I'm like, you made me proud.
It was cold blooded. He wants him to die.
No, because too
I
many
mean,
times, right? Like too many times, like you see this kind of shit where like what do you say like they're like, oh, I'm gonna do the morally right thing and like be kind and all of that, and it comes back
and
and
things
bites
went
them in
bad.
the ass further down the
Yeah,
line. Like you already know that this guy tried to murder you and like pretended to be like sick. No, no mercy, just kill him already.
yeah. I mean, it's a
You know?
logical thing to do. To not trust the guy that just tried to scam you.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Uh, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else you want to add?
If we're still talking about that scene, no, there was something I wanted to say, but about was
Episode.
about a bit later, but I forgotten it already. We're gonna move on first.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Episode 4. It's the episode when Joel and Ellie really bonds. Kind of. They started to bond a lot
Started.
more, and
Yeah.
yeah, started to bond a lot more with the ending, with the jokes thing, and yeah.
Even more so in episode 5.
And I think yeah, they definitely have more understanding and trust with each other now. With Joel, wait, is that episode 5 or
Mm-hmm.
4? When Joel give the guns to Ellie, is that episode
Those
4 or
four.
5? That was
Those four.
4. Yeah, yeah. Teaching
Yeah,
her
that's
how to
for
hold the gun, things like that.
Hmm,
You
hmm.
know, yeah. I like that. We get to see them build trust. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
do you remember what you want to say to go?
Yeah, I can bring this over to 5 if you want me to, but I can say it about 4 as well.
Might
Yeah,
as
I'll say
well.
it now. Um, the the leader of the resistance, I forgot what her name was. The
Kathleen.
the girl
Kathleen.
did not like her.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
hated her.
yeah, same.
They did a good job of making us hate her because I get where she's coming from, especially we learn more about the backstory and everything and
In
the reason
episode
with
5.
yeah,
Yeah.
with episode 5 with Henry and everything. And I get where she's coming from. I hate her so much. I was like, this
I,
bitch. I was like,
Oh, really? That's
oh
what you hated. I was
I
too
just
busy hating about like her character, as in like the
We
acting, I
hate
guess.
her.
oh,
No, we
you
hated
don't like
her.
how she acted?
I don't
We
like
hated her
how,
incompetency more like
yeah,
it.
like at no point. All right, you know what? I guess this is gonna bridge over into five as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like at
yeah, we're
no
bridging to
point
five anyway. Yeah.
did I feel
Hmm.
like oh yeah, this lady earned the position of leader of the resistance. You know, like whenever she gives orders, it's like, eh, are you sure? Do we have to? You know, like no like resolve behind it. And like she never feels threatening, even though she's threatening, pointing a gun at someone's face. I mean, okay, maybe if the gun was at my face, but like watching it, it didn't feel threatening. Like her tone and her acting, I don't know, I didn't like it. It didn't feel like proper and like leaders. And we learned later in five, right, that like she basically just like took the position from her brother, but like
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't like her acting. And
Okay.
like they tried to make it like sound like oh like she's a woman of action, you know, like oh like her brother everyone liked, but she's the one that made the change. I'm like, yeah, what change?
She killed. She
I
will.
don't
That's the
I
thing.
She.
don't
She's
I'll
will.
fully see it now.
The change is she's willing to do the dirty kill. She's willing to kill while her brother doesn't. Her brother have the sort of like the patience and like the forgiveness, and she's like, no, boom.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
as a result,
really
they
see that as a
ignored.
positive change.
No, I don't. I don't see that as a positive change, but that's sort of the commentary that I think the show is doing, right? Sort
Yeah.
of like, yeah, and they also mentioned this in five. All everyone, even Joel knows that the Kansas City Fedra is like one of the worst ones. And what happened when you're sort of oppressed like that? The people are gonna fight
Mm.
back, and that's what's happening. And that's sort of the result of it with her. And which is why it's like I don't think they're supposed to show they're supposed to show competency. I think they're very bad with handling it, but that's like sort of the result of it. Sort of like the snowball effect of like, okay, the Federa's shit. Now the people thinks they're free, but actually it might be worse with the situation under it. And I like that commentary that they did.
Also, being
Mhm.
free is actually like yeah, being free is no worse than
Well,
being under the federal, I
it
guess.
did
Yeah.
end up worse.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
But like I don't know, like with these
Yeah.
kinds of things, you know, especially if you've seen like this is the tone they set with four, you know, how like they're like all tricking like other people and like trying to like ambush them, you know, with the Brian's group in the very beginning.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like that does not um portray stability and loyalty. So like I think I mentioned it like twice to Ariq when I was watching it. So like what's keeping a second rebellion happening within the rebellion, you know? Because like these kinds of things tend to happen, you know, like especially
I mean,
if
then again,
she
it
has.
goes back to what Albert says. It's like they're not meant to be. They don't know really how to be the leader. I guess. I
Yeah,
guess.
right. So like what's
Yeah.
stopping like, and she's like spending everyone on this wild goose chase to find Henry.
Hmm.
We know people aren't happy about it.
Hmm.
What's stopping them from overthrowing her? That's the problem.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I didn't
Exactly.
find anything that made me feel like she was like holding that position securely, you know?
Yeah,
I
honestly,
think
Yeah.
like the
Nothing.
guy,
I
the
think
bearded guy with the assault rifle, if
Yeah.
he said a stern no after she said go find Henry, I bet she'd just shut up.
Yeah, like what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you
I
gonna do?
think I I think there is a certain inner circle within her community that's somewhat loyal to her. That's sort of the only reason why she still have power. Like
And
I
that
think
inner
a lot of
circle
people
is
outside
strong. Maybe.
probably they
Yeah.
probably have all the
Mm.
ammunitions and shit like that.
Which
So
is what makes the most sense, and again why I didn't like her character.
fair.
I find her character to be like a suburban mom that's quite the Karen
You know what?
and
I can
just
agree with that.
The Karen.
quite the Karen, and then she's just like put as the leader of the I don't know the I don't know. Isn't there like a parents
Uh,
association with the teachers and
It's
stuff?
No, you know what?
association.
No,
The
Kelvin just
PTA or
gave like
something.
a very accurate description. I can agree with that.
Oh my god.
That's a thing, right, in US?
Yeah, I mean that's a thing everywhere.
Is it? Is there a parents association in? How school?
In our school, yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
There
There
is,
I
there
don't know.
is?
is,
I
there
didn't
is.
know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
my
your
mom
I don't
mom.
know.
wasn't
Again.
involved.
Your
All
mom
right.
just never joined.
Yeah.
No, she was in the
No
group,
wonder.
but she never joined.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, makes sense. No wonder I didn't know.
Yeah, I think like no, we're going off track, but I think like my mom, like when she went once and she's like, "Oh, Kelvin's mom was there." That was a surprise. I'm like, "What? Kelvin's mom was there?"
Yeah.
Damn.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, going back. Less of Us. Uh, but yeah, suburban mom, the Karen in the leader of the PTA or something.
A different future where it's not Karen's the problem, it's Kathleen's.
Kathleen's. Hey,
Kathleen's.
you know what? Similar enough. The name.
Similar
Starts with
enough, yeah.
KA.
Okay, Kathleen's. Oh no. Okay.
Alright,
Uh,
let's move on from Kathleen, I guess. Yeah. We don't like her too much. Um,
no,
what
but
else is
we
there?
don't like her in a good way, as in like she's meant to be irritating,
She's
and
yeah,
Yeah.
she's
she
meant to
did
be
the job.
irritating. Yeah.
She did the job.
Uh, yeah. What else is there? I like the whole Henry and Sam thing. We get to follow their story quite a bit. What's the name? See how like wait. So Henry is basically like a snitch, right? That's
A
why?
snitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
snitch.
Yeah, the
He gives
collaborator
up
is
the
basically a
location of the
snitch.
brother.
The
Collaborators are,
collaborator
yeah,
is a
basically
snitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then he gave up the brother of Kathleen. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that we follow the Henry and Sam story. We get to see how they survive in Kansas this whole time, kind of thing. Uh, and then yeah, it's quite touching when what's the name? They were hiding in the attic thing, and then Sam was looking kind of scared or concerned, and then like Henry gave him the crayons to draw on the walls, things like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
similar to what I would say in like episode 3, I think. Like it's the small things that you don't really think of, and then in an apocalypse situation, and when you get to it, it's kind of fun, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I that's what I really and that's what broke me this episode, because there are again the small things. Like when this is jumping ahead a little bit, when Ellie and Sam was playing soccer, I was like, that is so wholesome. Like you don't get this, and Henry said, I haven't heard the laugh in a long
Hmm.
time, and especially because he's deaf, right? So it's like even they don't make noise any a lot of time. But yeah, the fact that that scene is like it's just so wholesome in like this apocalyptic moment kind of thing, Uh,
Yeah. Every time in this kind of series, like the little things, that's the one that's like, oh, that's wholesome. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Ariq, you have thoughts?
Uh, what thoughts on the whole thing?
Episode
I
5.
don't know. I'm not sure what else to add. I just want to maybe make comparisons again to the game if need
I mean,
be.
I'll say I do want to get to that too, because I
Let
heard
yeah,
I've
let's
learned
get to
some
the
stuff
ending,
about it.
then we get to the games, I guess.
Oh, you
You
want
Because
know?
to
I
get
heard
to the ending? Yeah,
because
you know
I
what? Fair
yeah
enough.
because
Yeah.
heard some stuff about that. But fuck, this episode 5 might be okay. Episode 1 is incredible. Episode 3 is incredible. I think this is up there as well, especially with the ending. That ending broke me.
That dude, that
Um,
that ending is. Oh wait, you're talking about the emotional ending, not the action scene, right?
Well, first of all, that whole thing is incredible. That they
Hmm.
just the pacing from the action sequence is horrifying. It is scary
Yeah,
when they climb out of that hole, and the hole. I think it's called, what's the big one? Bloater, something like that.
Bloaters,
I
yeah,
think they're
that's
called
what they're
yeah
called in
That
game.
bloaters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was
bloaters.
savage, and like the child clicker is horrifying.
I
And
hate
in
the way
that
she
small space
moves.
like that in a van. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate the way she
Yeah,
moves. It's so flexible. She just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
rolls into the car.
yeah, and then like Bella Ramsey's really good in this scene. The way how she's like sort of like crying, like sort of terrifies the noise. It's like
Hmm.
so pure fear, and it's like incredible. Um, but yeah, the fact that it pays from an action sequence directly to the final ending was heartbreaking, especially with the fact that uh, Bella Ellie tries to help Sam. Sam was bitten, and they had a moment of like, hey, is am I still me inside? And if you got turned to a monster, and like, yeah, it's still you. What happened? And they show and Ellie's trying to help him, and obviously she thought that she could help him. She doesn't know the fact. She
Yeah.
doesn't know clearly in the morning. She doesn't know. She thought that she could help him, and then in the morning, the fact that he's deaf as well, you don't know to that point. And then I mean, Arik probably knows it because he knows the game. And
I'll
I
explain this the whole thing
during that scene, I am like, I knew it's not gonna end well. I don't know if it's gonna go to the next episode, it's not gonna end well, or if it's this episode not gonna end well. I was like, I have a feeling she's not gonna cure him. She's gonna get turned, and Henry or someone is going to have to kill Sam, and that's gonna fucking break me. And then the fact that that happens, and then Henry kills himself, and Henry had to shoot Sam. And then at the very end, when he's like, "I'm sorry," she's written "I'm sorry"
Yeah.
in the notepad, and then just Pedro Pascal's reaction to it. That whole sequence just like broke me. I was like, "My God, this show, dude."
Yeah, she knows she broke the promise of like, stay awake with him until the morning kind of thing. Yeah. And then yeah. And also that whole scene when Sam was already turned and then was attacking Ramsey, I mean Ellie.
Yeah.
And then everything happened so fast and Henry just like, shoots Sam kind of thing. Like I feel like that's like instinctually, it just happens, like he just shoots and then he's just like, what did I do?
He's like, "What
Kind
did
of
I
thing.
do? What did I do?" And
Yeah.
yeah.
Albert, are you crying now?
No, I'm just thinking back about it. Get me emotional, especially because literally the sequence again before that, when Kathleen was like, "Yeah, kids are supposed to die." I'm like, he's only a kid. I saved my brother, and now this is literally his worst nightmare come true, and he's the one who killed his brother. It's so fucked, dude.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
what?
that's go on, Ruth.
No, what I like as well. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm rambling a lot. What I
Go
like
on,
as
go
well,
on.
and this is a little bit change. This is a little bit with Arik of the change. The whole idea behind this episode is sort of, and Joel mentioned it. It's easier for them because you don't. It's easier for the kids because they don't have anyone relying on them, and so it's tougher for us. And then the whole idea of this episode is that Sam, because he's deaf, and they change it from the game because he's not deaf in the game. Because he's deaf, Sam have to rely on Henry even more. So Henry clearly have to care about Sam even more. So the fact that when Sam dies, Henry sort of like, I have no point to my existence right now. My whole life is just to take care of Sam, and Sam relies on me. And that when he kills himself, that's the whole thing. And it sort of reflects back to Joel, because Joel, this whole time, he's gruesome because he doesn't think anyone needs him at all. But at the end of that episode, you can sort of see the change in Joel of like, that's gonna be me and Ellie. Ellie needs me in a way. He can sort of tell that Ellie needs me, and now he's kind of scared. He's worried a little bit now. And yeah, that's that small character development is like really well done in the whole episode building up. Sorry, I ramble a lot there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Good ramble. We haven't go to Teguh yet for a while. Teguh, what about you? Your thoughts on the whole like swarms attacking and
Well,
the
that's.
Sam Henry scene?
I mean,
Yeah.
most of it's already said. The only other thing I wanted to add is kind of like a little like annoyance, I guess. Well, not annoyance, but
Yeah.
peeve is, like throughout the action scene, the final action scene when the swarm came out and everything,
Mhm.
they had multiple opportunities to run immediately.
And they didn't.
But they
Yeah.
just kind of stood there. Like, okay, you can be afraid. Like, don't be afraid and stand still. Be afraid and run. You know? You can be afraid all you want, just run at the same time. I mean, it wouldn't have changed the ending, I guess, but like it just still annoys me when like it reminds me of that what I forgot what bird it was called, but there's this bird in New Zealand, I think, or is it Papua New Guinea, where like it
Oh,
doesn't have any natural predators,
the
so
green
like
one,
if it
right?
sees something that threatens it,
Kaswari?
it just
No,
No,
no.
no.
Kaswaris
Kaswar is
are
the blue
lethal.
scary one.
Those are lethal.
yeah, they just like stand completely still and hope that that they just get ignored,
It's called the kakapu, right?
Kakapu, yeah, that's
Kakapoo.
Kakapu.
Kakapoo.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
I
that
guess
was it.
people have different
Otherwise,
reactions to it when they're scared. some stand still, some run.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know it's a reaction to like freeze as
Yeah.
well, but like, come on,
Well, they
run.
probably think that they could take them, right? They didn't realize
I,
how many it is. They haven't seen an infected in so long,
That
apparently,
is
right?
true,
So,
actually. Yeah.
What? Who?
are we talking
the
about the?
rebels.
Are you talking about the rebels? Or are you talking about the four
No, no, no,
characters?
no, no, no. I'm talking about the four of them.
Okay,
Four
Oh,
of them, yeah.
yeah,
Especially Joel run like multiple times, but they just didn't run. Like,
yeah.
yeah, they were hiding. Sam and
Yeah,
Henry's was clearly very scared, and Ellie. Yeah, I mean they're all pretty scared. So
I think to be fair, like for them, like they're not as experienced as
as
Joel
Joel.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Or as brutal as Joel is. So Joel, like he's a man of action. Maybe
Hmm.
the player controlling Joel is a really it's a pro. I don't know how it
Ye-
works in I don't know how it works in the series. But
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh,
my peeve about that is not even about this scene. It's more like Teguh keeps shouting. I can't really hear the episode that
are you
clearly.
watching with him?
Yeah,
What
I
was I
have to.
Oh,
shouting about?
what was
Was
the
I
goose?
shouting about the?
What was the goose shouting about?
yeah.
Keep running! Keep running! He keeps saying that. I can't hear it. Like I forgot that the goose mic is like pretty good quality, so it picks up
Yeah.
the sound very well,
Oh my
right?
god!
Yeah,
So I
listen,
have
like
a
I turned
hard
Yeah.
off my
time trying
screen for
to
like 2 seconds. I look back and they're just standing there. I'm like, run!
run,
To be
run.
fair, I
That's
was
all
thinking
I
of that
heard.
too, but I was thinking of that too.
Obviously, I was thinking of that too, but at least I scream internally, not scream externally.
Teguh is a man of voice.
I'm a man of voice.
Kind of voice
All
that
right.
needs to be muted eventually. Jesus, Jesus.
All right, let's get to the game comparison that Arik wants to talk about.
All right, this is
Yeah,
my moment, my segment, game
Arik
comparison.
segment. Let's go.
Game comparison. Okay, I should mention like okay, so from the beginning in episode
Yeah,
four, as
episode
in
five, right? Or
yeah,
four or
no, no,
five?
I'm gonna go all the way from 4 to 5 because there's like some tidbits
Okay.
here missing.
Okay.
So like the
Hmm.
rebels, like Kathleen and the rebels, like that concept did not exist in game. Kathleen did not exist in game. As for the rebels, they were simply like considered as like raiders, looters, bandits, whatever. So they had really no, I don't know, like they don't like they're portrayed differently. As far as I know, I think they're like cannibals as well too. They just like kill and eat
Oh,
anyone.
Oh wow.
So there's
wow.
no
Okay.
yeah, there's no like I think there was a bit of lore behind like maybe why Fedra wasn't in Kansas City and all that or wherever they were. So that part was like a bit different. So they added more depth to the rebels and with Kathleen and all that. So that's new. Um as for Henry and Sam, the when you encountered them in game, it was more like yeah, kind of a random encounter. All of a sudden they're just like, oh, they're like, oh, they kind of like went into a room. They kind of just point guns at each other. Whoa, what are you doing? Another difference, again, apart from Sam not being deaf, he was also the same age as Ellie in the game. He was 14, not 8.
Oh,
Yes, I heard about that.
okay. Okay.
Yes. So I guess I don't know. So I guess some people kind of like shipped them a bit when they were, when they were together from during that whole chapter's moment. What is it, Albert?
Can I comment on something real quick on that?
Go on. Go
I
on.
heard
Sure.
about that, and
Hmm.
the fact because apparent some people say that in the game it sort of feels like Sam is like flirty with Ellie in a way, which is like okay,
Hmm.
yeah, it works, but the fact that this is sort of like a older brother, younger brother, older sister relationship in a way that they're doing, it makes the death even hurt a little bit more, in my opinion, than
Mm,
someone
There's
Yeah,
who's
I
their
that.
own
agree.
age, because she's sort of trying to protect him as well, and she can't. And then the fear when he turns, I sort of feels like I think that hits
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit harder.
I think it's no, I think the change in the series hits harder, that making him like younger, portrayed as a younger like sibling gitu.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
young. Yeah, and I guess and then the whole action scene with the sniper sequence. That part is
Hmm.
technically also in the game as well, but it was not as intense. It was daylight. It
Oh.
was mostly fighting the bandits, and no big hordes of zombies came out. So yeah, it wasn't as cool as depicted, which is kind of a
Okay.
shame. But you know what? They did this 2013. That maybe they had video game, what is it? Graphic problems might be too heavy. um, and on the last scene, pretty much it's hard to explain. It's like it's 100% accurate, but a lot of details were changed. So like
Mm.
in the game, uh, Sam never told Ellie or anyone that he was infected. Okay, so he
Oh,
kind of just kept that to himself. And what happened was like the same thing happened where the altercation happened. Joel wanted to shoot the kid first, but then not Sam, Henry
Henry.
threatened him, and then he shot what is it, his own brother
Uh,
himself.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the same thing as well, how he committed suicide, and even the exact dialogue. He said the exact same dialogues as well, like what have I done? What have I done?
Mhm.
It's quite brutal. But yeah, apart from that little thing, and also the grave scene was also quite new, which is honestly, I think that's the part that breaks people the most, I guess. Because to be honest, like the first time I watched it on the game in the gameplay, right, 10 years ago, I was sad about that part. And I knew this part was coming, and I
Yeah, it
was like,
still hurts.
Albert's gonna be hit by an emotional train here. I
Yeah.
knew it was coming, but you know what? They made it a bit sadder, in my opinion, here with the like you mentioned the little the little brother
Brother
complex
sister
because he's
connection.
younger,
Yeah.
brother sister connection, yeah, as opposed to like romance connection, and the grave scene as well with the I'm sorry
That
written
would
on
make
the
me.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that. So yeah, you know what?
And especially like before
Overall,
that, Henry
yeah,
and what's his name? Joel was talking about. Yeah, okay.
Yes, going
Joel was
together.
inviting him to go together, kind of thing, right?
That
yeah.
So you're like,
false
oh
hope,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. And then everything just went out so quickly after
I
one sleep.
Mm.
I bet that probably, well, I don't know. Arik, because Arik knows they're gonna die. So when that scene happened, it's like, hey, let's go together. Does it sort of do you sort of feel like, damn, they're leading me to a like a false path here,
Yeah.
giving hope.
Actually, yeah, in a way, sort of, because I think in the game, it was not Sam, sorry, Henry was the one that wanted to invite them, but you know what? Same thing, kind
Hmm.
of same part of the story there. So
Mm.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think
Okay,
everyone
okay,
agreed.
true.
Like pretty much back then, that's like people say like, oh, this is the most emotional part of the game. Yeah, it was true. Even PewDiePie was sad when I was watching his
Oh,
walkthrough.
this is the most emotional part of the game.
Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
I think Last of Us will be
Rough.
the rare case where the series the adapted thing is actually better than the game.
Might
Maybe.
just be actually.
Might just
Yeah. I
be
Might
mean,
just
because
be,
the
yeah.
things that
So
because they
changed, like in episode 3, that
so
was
smart.
great. In episode
yeah, they
5,
changed a
the
lot of
little
episode.
things they change, it makes it even better. Like the whole
Yeah.
how emotionally hurt we are.
Yeah, so what they've done is basically episode 3 they changed well everything, but in
Hmm.
episode 4 and 5
Yeah.
they changed tiny bits of details, but it somehow adds up to, something more
Mm-hmm.
developed.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
they still they still stick with the core main story of it, and
Yeah,
like
but they
they just
changed the
see what
details.
works in the games and what could be better made from the outside the
Yeah,
games.
they definitely took that what could be made better to heart and actually, do it.
Yeah.
But
Made it
without
better.
ruining the
Yeah.
game, without ruining or changing the game in any way, like the game
Also,
story, I mean.
Yeah.
also it really helps that games cannot, yes, they can convey emotions, but the performance of the actors really sells it. Like the Pedro Pascal's sort of, after he see the I'm sorry, his subtle face is like, oh, that's like that help bugs me. And like again, when Henry's like, what have I done, the shakiness on his voice is like,
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh
Uh, Anything else you want to add on episode 5?
I have a little bit of fun fact.
Okay,
um
go on.
so the zombies, the horde that comes out of the ground, it looks
Hmm.
incredible, right? And everything.
Yeah.
They got help from Terry Notary, who works on the Planet of the Apes film in terms of the movement coordinator. So
Hmm.
Terry Notary, he also plays Rocket in the film and the Planet of the Apes film, the new ones. So they got a lot of like movement coordination from Terry Notary for that, as well as the visuals, because a lot of the zombies are like special effects as well. So they got the movement from there, which I thought was like really cool that they work with that. And another fun fact, Kayvon Montreal Woodard, who plays Sam, he's deaf in real life. They have to learn ASL and everything. Apparently, Bella Ramsey picked up ASL really quick, as well as the guy who plays Henry picked up ASL really quick. Apparently, Pedro Pascal struggles picking up ASL. Um, But yeah, they also work with CJ Jones in this for the ASL work. And CJ Jones, you might not know his name, but you have definitely know his work. He is in Baby Driver. He's the deaf guy in Baby Driver. Baby's like sort of like his
Oh,
yeah
yeah.
Oh,
yeah like his
okay, okay.
Old
mentor,
baby.
uncle,
Yeah.
grandpa thing. He created CJ Jones is deaf in real life as well, and ASL in real life. He also created the whole Navi sign language for Avatar: The Way of Water.
Oh
Whoa,
wow.
what?
Oh,
That's
that's a big
So
insane.
project.
so yeah,
Yeah,
Let's see.
CJ Jones, he deserves more recognition. He is awesome.
It's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before we end it here, I think the chat, Mr. Bluebolt here, give us a little nice attention to detail moments. Here I'll bring it up. Mr. Bluebolt said Ellie noticed Joel is a little deaf in the right ear. That's why Joel always lay down facing right side to avoid blocking his left ear. And in the last scene, he didn't notice Henry and Sam because he was facing left,
Oh yeah, because he
blocking
was
his left
facing
ear.
Yep.
was
Yeah,
I
facing
know.
Ellie basically. Yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
I mean
Okay,
the
I kind of want
creators
to
did
add.
say that attentive watcher, they're going to be what's the name rewarded. That's what they say in one of the
Rewarded.
Yeah.
interview. Yeah.
They're very good. Actually, I want to add two more things. One's going to probably break your heart even more, and the first
Oh,
Oh,
part
come
is
on.
something interesting. You know when the bloater killed that guy, the cool guy with the cool
the beer.
hair and beard.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
ripped his like mouth
Head.
open, right?
Oh
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
yeah,
his
yeah,
head
yeah.
open. Yeah, from the jaw. I told Teguh this. That was the death animation if you get killed by the bloater, if as Joel. That's what he
Oh
does to
okay.
you.
Oh,
So
So
that's
that's
like
like
the
a they
execute.
literally taken from in game into there
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
full accuracy. So that's kind of cool. And this second part here, want to add. This I'm not sure if it was a theory or they confirmed it, but like if I'm not mistaken, when they mentioned about like, am I still when Sam mentioned like, am I still a monster? Am I still me inside a monster in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I heard that the theory goes like, once you're infected for the first few months, weeks, or so, you are actually still subconscious and alive, but you have no control over your body.
Oh yeah,
So
I
that
heard about that
means,
theory as well.
yeah. So that means it's possible that when Sam died, he was actually probably struggling not to attack Ellie, but there's nothing he can do about it.
That's so
Yeah,
fucked, man.
that is very that is brutal, isn't it? That's why in
Oh,
game you can hear zombies like crying. It's probably because it's the person like not wanting to eat
Not
this
wanting to do.
other
Yeah.
person, but there's nothing they can do about it. Yeah, I want to add that just because I want to break you. I'm very evil.
Yeah.
that is so.
I'm
That
very
is
evil.
so.
Albert is crying and I'm smiling.
That is so fucked, man. And I'm just thinking that once he realized that Henry is like killed him and everything too.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Yeah.
yes, Albert.
Yep.
I am being very brutal with
I
this.
I
I
hate
know
the
that
show. I
theory.
hate the show.
I know that theory, but I forgot about it this whole time until now. So next episode, Albert, keep this in mind.
Keep
Keep
this
this in
in mind.
mind.
I'm gonna search for it, even if it actually is confirmed or is it just a theory or something.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Well, all right. Let's stop all this emotional attack on Albert. He still have his whole day ahead of him today,
Oh
unlike
yeah,
us
that's
who's
true.
going to
I'm going
sleep.
to bed. I'm going to bed. Albert like
my
he's gonna
day's
cry
my
the whole
day's
day.
ruined.
Right, I forgot.
Maybe I'm going to bed as well. I'm just gonna sleep the whole day.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Before Albert breaks down even more.